At my sister's engagement celebration, my uncle chuckled loudly. "Watch your funds vanish," I shot back, quietly canceling the venue and locking the card. He raised his glass, still laughing. There's always someone who feels out of place. The table erupted in laughter, brushing it off as a light-hearted jab. I scanned the room, taking it all in. Elegant napkins, gleaming juice flutes, and a surplus of desserts no one needed. Everyone was dressed impeccably, pretending old wounds were forgotten. My smile was hollow. "Unnecessary people are simple to cut out," I murmured, sliding my chair back and slipping out without a fuss. No one followed. Not my mother, not my father, not even my sister, the center of the evening's joy. Roughly 40 minutes later, my phone rang. It was a jittery waiter, a guy I knew from high school. "What's going on?" "Everything's falling apart," he said. I asked for details. He explained the staff had been told to halt service, the DJ packed up early, and the lights went out during the first dance. "Good," I replied, and hung up. None of them, not even my sister with her flawless grin and forced laugh, knew I'd been orchestrating this for months. Not out of spite or rage, but because I was tired of being the family's fallback. This didn't start with the engagement. It went back much further. It went back before the $5,000 she borrowed and never repaid, before they accidentally left me out of a family picture, before she stared at me last Christmas and said, "You know you're not really needed, right?" I stayed silent. I kept up the act. I kept covering costs. I kept showing up when no one else would. I swallowed my pride as a dutiful son and brother until that night when I was labeled unnecessary. The word cut deep, like a blade scratching steel. Unnecessary is what they call someone they've already replaced but haven't bothered to tell. Once you see you've been sidelined, you stop caring. This didn't begin with some grand betrayal. It started with, "Can you spot me?" Just this once. The first time Sophia asked for cash, she was in tears, saying her rent was overdue and she didn't want our parents to know. She'd lost her job and needed a lifeline. That same day, I sent her $1,200. She never mentioned it again. The next time it was, "Just $300. I'll pay you back by Friday." Friday passed, then a month, then nothing. I never refused her. That was my error. I was the older brother, the safety net, the one they called when things fell apart. I lived far enough to be overlooked, but close enough to be summoned when bills piled up. When Dad needed knee surgery and the better brace wasn't covered, I paid. When Mom wanted to surprise Sophia with a nicer car for her birthday, I co-signed. When their heater failed in January, my phone pinged at 2 a.m. with a Venmo request. Their response was either silence or worse, as if they were entitled to it. At first, I told myself this was family love. That's what you do for kin, right? I thought if I kept giving, they'd eventually see me as more than a bank account. I was mistaken. The first real shock came when Sophia got engaged. I found out through a polished Instagram video, her staged surprise on a rooftop, as her fiancé slid a ring worth more than my rent onto her finger. Juice sprayed, a drone buzzed overhead, and the caption read, "I said yes, excited to celebrate with those who truly count." I stared at it for 10 minutes, checking for a missed call. There wasn't one. That night, their group chat lit up, not the one I was in, but another. I only learned about it because Mom accidentally sent me a screenshot meant for their core circle chat. I wasn't included. Then came the dinner. I got a last-second invite to a small gathering at our aunt's place. When I arrived, Sophia shot me a look like I'd ruined her moment. "Oh, didn't think you'd show," she said. Our uncle poured sparkling juice and cracked a loud joke. 13 of us? Someone's got to be the odd one out." Everyone laughed. I didn't. I started noticing strange charges when I checked my credit card. $2,800 for floral arrangements from Bella's Blooms, $1,050 for a venue deposit, $600 for an elaborate cake. These hit a card I hadn't used in months, one I'd shared with my parents during the pandemic for emergencies. I called the number on one of the charges. "Hello? This is Claire from Bella's Blooms. Is this for Sophia's wedding flowers?" I didn't respond. I hung up. 2 days later, I saw my name in a Facebook comment, untagged. A distant cousin wrote under Sophia's bridal shower photos, "Excited to meet your brother." Sophia replied, "Oh, you won't. He's not part of this chapter." My bank statement told a different story. The final blow was the group gift. A week before the engagement party, Mom sent a chipper email. "We're all chipping in for Sophia's surprise honeymoon. Since you're far, I put you down for $1,000. Send it when you can. Love you." I didn't answer. I didn't explode. I observed. I kept records, not with secret recordings, but with screenshots, receipts, and emails. Tangible evidence of how they viewed me. Like Dad's text to Sophia, Don't worry, I told him he's busy that weekend. He won't come. Like her fiancé's message to a friend. Her brother's a hassle. Don't mention him. They say he causes trouble. Like Mom's post. So proud of our girl. This wedding's for those who've always been there. Even after all that, I kept paying. Until the engagement party. It was at a vineyard just outside town. Tables draped in linen, twinkling lights, a live band, a guest book with a vintage typewriter for notes. I drove there in silence, not because I had nothing to say, but because I was done speaking to deaf ears. There were 12 place settings. I was the 13th. Uncle joked, "Someone's always the spare." I scanned the table, Sophia in white, Mom beaming, Dad already acting odd, friends, cousins, elders, all smiling. No one looked at me. I smiled anyway. Spares are easy to drop, I said softly and stood. I left. Not with anger, not loudly. Just finished. 40 minutes later, the venue went dark. The DJ stopped mid-song. Staff said the payment was declined, something about a frozen card and a flagged account. The juice stopped flowing. The cake never arrived. The photographer left unpaid. Someone checked the booking, canceled weeks earlier. I didn't sabotage anything. I just stopped funding it. I'd been the one bankrolling it all. They didn't notice, or maybe they assumed I'd keep paying, invited or not. But when I walked away, they lost more than a guest. They lost their cash flow, they lost my compliance. They tried to smooth things over with game tickets, front row seats to a sold-out match, local team versus state rivals, the kind Dad bragged about watching with real fans. Mom texted, "Let's hit reset. Seats for everyone. Come enjoy some juice, no drama, we miss you." No drama. Cute. I agreed. Not to reconcile, but to end it decisively. At the stadium gate, Sophia was snapping selfies with a giant foam finger, acting like nothing happened. Mom smiled as if we were still a picture-perfect family. Dad handed me a hot dog like it was a truce offering. "Try to enjoy yourself," he said, heading to his seat. I sat 2 seats apart, not out of spite, but because distance was my only peace. The first half passed with cheers, flat juice, and fake cheese. Dad yelled at the refs like he was on the roster. Sophia streamed with a caption, "Family night, feeling grateful." I wasn't in her frame. I waited. Halftime was near, and with food lines packed, they couldn't slip away. 15 minutes before the break, I stood and said, "Let's get food, I've got something to say." Dad looked puzzled. Mom stiffened. Sophia rolled her eyes. We walked to the food stands, the air thick with the smell of greasy fries and stale ketchup. I chose a table off to the side, quiet enough to talk, loud enough for others to hear. "You wanted peace? A real talk? Fine. But not on your terms anymore." Sophia sipped her drink and smirked. "Another lecture?" I opened my phone and showed a folder. "See this?" I turned the screen to them. $2,800 for flowers, $1,050 for the venue, $600 for the cake, all on my emergency card. Remember that, Mom? She stared at the table. "I wasn't even invited, but I paid for it all." Dad tried. "We didn't realize—" I cut him off. "You did. You just hoped I'd stay quiet and keep funding you." I turned to Sophia. "Your Instagram screams self-made, but who covered your rent for 6 months when you couldn't hold a job? Who bailed you out when your crypto scheme tanked?" Her face drained. "You don't have to be cruel," she said. "I'm not cruel," I replied evenly. "I'm precise." I showed her fiancé's gift registry. "Half these gifts landed at your place, paid by me. No thank you, no ask." I turned to Dad, showing a group chat screenshot with his name. "Don't invite him, he makes it weird." "Weird?" I said, voice rising. "The guy who funded your last 3 trips? The one you call when the car dies but never for a family photo?" Dad's face flushed. "It was a joke," he mumbled. "No," I said. "A joke is calling me spare while I'm footing the bill." I leaned in. I kept the lights on, the party's going, the smiles wide. But when I stopped paying, I became the outsider. People were watching. A man nearby paused over his fries. A teen in line turned to look. I didn't care. I wanted the audience. "You thought I'd stay quiet, enjoy the free ticket, and pretend everything's fine. I'm not here to play along," Sophia hissed. "You're embarrassing us." "No," I said. "I'm exposing the truth." I stood, hit send on my phone. Their devices buzzed. "What's this?" Mom asked, tapping her screen. "Your balance sheet," I said. "Every dollar I spent, every favor you asked, every time I said yes, and every time you pretended it didn't happen." I met their eyes. "The joint accounts are closed. Auto payments stopped. Wedding costs, gone. The lease I co-signed ended. Utilities, switch them to your names by Friday." Sophia gasped. "You can't just—" "I can," I said. And I did. Dad slammed his drink down. "You think money lets you shame us? You're better than your family?" "No," I said. "I think taking someone's money behind their back while acting like nothing's wrong is betrayal. I'm done bankrolling it." Silence fell. Mom whispered, "You'll regret this." I looked at her, seeing her clearly for the first time. "No," I said. "You'll regret losing the only one holding this family together." I turned to leave. One step, two. Then I stopped. "Thanks for the ticket," I said. "I'll keep the seat, but from now on I sit alone." I walked back to the stadium as the second half started. The crowd cheered. I didn't look back. They sat at that sticky table, staring at their phones. Screenshots, bank statements, a trail of money they never thought I'd track. The free ride was done. 3 days later, Dad emailed. Subject: "Let's be reasonable." Message: "We know you were upset. Things got heated. Let's not escalate. Can we talk?" I didn't reply. I forwarded it to my lawyer. Elliot, my attorney, was calm and professional, always in plain gray ties. He drafted a 3-page letter, sharp and direct. "This outlines the unauthorized use of Mr. Last Name's funds, including fraud and financial misuse. Repayment is due within 10 business days or legal action will follow." We sent it certified, signature required. They signed. 5 days of silence followed. Then money started trickling in. $300, then $1,100, then $8,600 labeled partial repayment, sorry for the mix-up. Mix-up? I sent Elliot a screenshot. He fired back another letter that day. "Partial payment is unacceptable. Full repayment is required. This is non-negotiable." Within 2 weeks, every cent was returned. Wedding costs, Dad's medical bills, utilities, rent, groceries, even the dessert table from the party. No court, no judge, just their fear of what could happen if they didn't. They never admitted fault. Not once. Sophia sent $2,000 with a note, trying to make it right. I refunded it. I wasn't taking bribes. I had what I needed. Closure. Mom tried her old guilt tactic, leaving a voicemail in her frail tone, the one she used when Dad got loud. "Honey, the money's back. Can't we move forward?" I listened twice, then deleted it. She wanted to skip the truth. I wasn't playing. I didn't leave town or change my number. I changed my limits. No more favors, no more weekends, no more family used to exploit me. When Sophia texted about her birthday dinner, I replied, "You got your gift. It came with interest." She left it on red. Dad tried one last time. A handwritten letter, 2 pages, neat cursive. The first line: "I never meant for it to go this far." I stopped reading. They always mean to take. They just don't expect you to notice. My life is quiet now. Same apartment, same street, same cafe on 6th and Elm. No more urgent knocks, no guilt trips, no invites with hidden costs. I see her fiancé downtown sometimes. He glances, then looks away. Good. He should. I passed Mom at the drugstore once. She waved. I kept walking. They returned the money, but they'll never get me back. A week later, a note appeared under my door. No envelope, just slipped through. One line: "We all mess up, but we're still family." I smirked and wrote one line back. The next morning, I slid it under their door. "Stay close. I'm done." I heard her before she knocked. Slow steps, a pause, then 2 sharp knocks, bold enough to demand a response. Sophia never used the buzzer. She knew I'd ignore it. Knocking was personal. I opened the door. She stood there, no makeup, no earrings, no pretense. Just a thin coat and that familiar look she got before asking for something. "I'm not here for cash," she said. "That's new," I replied. She didn't laugh. "I want you to think about it." "The wedding?" I asked. "What about it?" "I want you there." Silence. "It'll be small. No drama. Just family. I want you to come." I said nothing. She pressed on. "I know we screwed up. I know I did. But I don't want my kids growing up in a fractured family. You're still my brother." "No," I said. "I was your ATM until the funds ran dry." She flinched. Not because it was harsh, but because it was true. "I'm not proud of it," she said softly. "But I'm trying to fix it. We can't undo the past, but maybe—" I cut her off. "Your wedding already happened, Sophia. When you charged $4,200 to my card. When you used someone else's name on the bill. When you cropped me out of the family photo. When I sat at a table for 12 and realized I was the 13th. The spare." She looked away. "And now you show up with an invite like it fixes everything. You're not offering peace. You're offering silence again." "I'm trying," she whispered. "No," I said. "You didn't lose a brother. You just saw what happens when he stops being useful." She stood frozen, lips tight. I walked to the desk, grabbed a plain envelope, and wrote 4 words in black ink. Returned to sender. I set it on the table. That's my RSVP. Take it. She didn't touch it. She didn't move. She walked to the door, hand on the knob, and paused. If you ever change your mind, you know where I am. Exactly, I said. She left. I didn't close the door right away. I listened. Steps down the stairs, car engine, silence. I tucked the envelope in a drawer, not as a memento, but a reminder. The next day, a bank alert confirmed the utilities were out of my name. The car loan I co-signed was cleared and retitled. No more debts, no more ties, no more favors. That Sunday, I made coffee in silence. Rain fell. I didn't think about her wedding or the past. I savored the peace I'd fought years to claim, worth every moment. That evening, I went to the post office and got a new mailbox label. Simple black letters. No family requests. They didn't lose me. They used me. And now I'm empty. Not of money, but of patience. For once, they're the ones who owe me. So, what are your thoughts on this story? Do you agree with what happened, or do you see it differently? Let us know your opinion in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any of our upcoming stories. See you in the next one.